Today in the lodge I'm going to cook a lovely lamb ragu, which is perfect for Easter. We're using some really lovely lamb shoulder from Alison Sutcliffe at Bluebell Farm Meats just down the road. This is half a lamb shoulder. This is going to be enough for 8 people. So there'll be some left for us to have tomorrow as well. Normally I'd use Toulouse sausages or Italian sausages, which are a bit more highly seasoned, but I've got some of Alison's lovely wet wine bangers. So because I haven't got those seasoned sausages, I'm going to add some more chilli flakes. This is peperoncino from Sicily. These are fennel seeds. I'm going to add some of those, some go in anyway, but I'm going to add a few more to add some extra seasoning to it. A couple of onions, some garlic, extra garlic as well, because the Toulouse and Italian sausages would be really garlicky. Some carrots, celery, rosemary, bay leaf, a couple of tubs of passata, some tomato puree and some red wine. This is Howard's Folly red wine, my son's red wine, very good. You just need to remove the skins from the sausages before we cook them. So just split them down the side, take off the skin, and then those can just break up into little bits like that. And these we're going to fry with the lamb first. So do that to all the sausages and then we'll get cooking. I've also diced the vegetables, so I've got finely diced onion, carrot and celery, and they're going to cook after the meat with all the herbs and spices. So we'll get this meat cooking. Cook the meat first, we'll cook it a little bit at a time so that we don't overcrowd the pan. If you overcrowd the pan, you stew the meat rather than fry it. And I'm going to add in some of my sister's lovely Cretan olive oil, just to drop in there. And we'll get that nice and hot before we start browning the meat. So make sure you get some really good colour on your lamb. This is important because this gives huge amounts of flavour to your ragu or your stew. Always brown your meat nicely. It gives excellent flavour to it, the caramelisation. It's very important, it builds up layers of flavour in your casserole. So get all that meat done, a little bit at a time, and we also need to brown those sausages as well, which I'll do next. So that's all the meat done now. All that can go into that casserole dish. Just tip it all in. We'd add a little touch of oil again and turn the heat right down now, and we're going to cook the vegetables. So all of those go in along with the bay leaves and the rosemary. And these just want to cook gently for 10 minutes or so, just to soften. They're not going to brown. And also going in is the fennel seed and that little bit of peperoncino. We won't add the garlic just yet because that wants to cook a little bit slower towards the end so it doesn't burn. Burnt garlic is not pleasant, so we'll add it in towards the end. So just give that 10 minutes just to cook and soften those veg. So these vegetables are now softened up nicely. They're going to go in with the lamb. This, I've just been reminded by my son, is called a sofrito. And you add the herbs into it because that develops the flavour as well. They really start to release their flavour as you're cooking them here. So that's had a good 10-15 minutes really softening up because it's quite a lot in that pan. And they go in as well, in with the casserole. Then we're going to just deglaze this pan. I'm going to turn it up and we're just going to deglaze it with a little of this red wine. So just a little bit in, just enough so you can scrape all the goodness off the bottom of that pan and get every last bit of flavour out and into your casserole. So that should do now, so that can scrape in too. And then we're going to pop this casserole on to the dish here, onto my hob rather, and put in roughly 200 ml of red wine and also a couple of tablespoons of tomato puree. So That's going to go in as well. We'll stir that in. 2 good scoopfuls tomato puree. A couple of tubs of passata. I'm just going to make sure I get all the last bits of goodness out of there as well by half filling them with some water. So fill them half up, give them a swirl, and you get all the tomato out of them as well. So another one going in too. Don't forget to swill it out with some water. And then we'll bring all that to the boil, and then that goes into your oven for a good hour and a half, just to make sure it's really nice and tender and well cooked. Bring it back to the boil first. And in it goes. Been an hour and a half. We're just going to check the lamb, make sure that it's done. Whoa, smells delicious, looks delicious. So we'll just give that a stir and have a test of the lamb just to make sure that it's nice and tender. That feels great. So just have a taste of the sauce as well. Just add a little bit of salt and pepper. And a bit of pepper in there too. Give it a stir, and then it'll be time to cook the pasta. So we'll ladle some of that sauce, lovely sauce in there. Get some in, a little bit of the pasta, or all of the pasta in there. Get some more sauce on top, and then we'll mix it all in together. Delicious. Smells so good. I wish you could smell it. There we go. A little bit more. And then we'll just mix that together with our tongs. Really tasty, lovely, nourishing lamb pappardelle. So you can do this if you don't want to make your own pasta. Obviously you can make it with any other pasta that you have at home. Penne pasta would be good. Anything that's a bit robust that can handle this thick sauce. So let's get that mixed in. It looks good. Then we'll get it in our bowl that we made a mess of there. A bit in there. Some more. Ooh. Bit of the meat, and we can ladle some of that sauce from the casserole on top. I'll just give that a little bit of a clean. Just wipe that up. Put a little bit of sauce over the top, and obviously, very importantly, a good grating of parmesan all over the top. So there we go. There's your pasta, pappardelle pasta with lamb ragu.